In this video, I will share with you 4 big signs that it will not last. Hello, my name is Greta Bereisaite. I'm dating and relationship coach for women. For the awesome high-value women secrets, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I upload new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. And just before I will share with you those 4 big fat signs that the relationship will not last, don't forget to take my free self-awareness test to find out are you a woman of high value or low value, which I will drop down in the video description box below. And just a little note before I share those signs, ladies, please keep it in mind that there are always exceptions, and this is not black and white advice. Okay? So, saying that, the sign number 1. The sign number 1 is if you are behaving low value. And by low value, meaning that you are not behaving as the best version of yourself. You're actually doing quite the opposite, and he starts losing attraction for you. So for example, you started to complain a lot, blame him, nag, control him. Maybe you started to behave really masculine and you started to pursue him. Perhaps you guys started to have a lot of fights, etc. So if you really want to know what is a low value behavior in detail, check out my video right here, what is a woman of low value. But in general, when you behave as a low value woman, men start to lose attraction for you, and that's how relationships fall apart. And a lot of times nowadays we don't realize that as women we behave low value because, for example, we are really influenced nowadays to wear our hearts on a sleeve, to be vulnerable, to share with a guy how we feel, to pursue man because it's 21st century and you can copy man and behave like them. So a lot of times we do these, as I would call them, low value behaviors, and we turn guys off. We turn guys off because we behave like men. Men in relationships, we are not looking to date other men. We are looking for a woman. So when you behave masculine as a man should, then you start to turn a guy off. Just before I go to the next point, I remember recently talking to my client about being vulnerable, showing your vulnerabilities. And I was just explaining to her how in the past women would not do that because we were following God's word much more. And in God's word, it says that don't be vulnerable, don't share all your feelings, try and be logical, control your emotions, don't wear your heart on a sleeve. The world is, full of manipulations, full of people that are trying to take advantage of you, abuse, etc. So why would you be walking around all vulnerable? First of all, it's very unattractive because you're being an open book. It becomes very boring very quickly. And second, by showing your vulnerabilities, you are giving all the green lights for all the manipulators to use and abuse you. I mean, have a look at Netflix. There are plenty of stories how women nowadays get scammed by men. Why are we being scammed by these guys that come across as these charming, rich, whatever, high value men? Right? Why are we getting scammed? Because we are behaving very naive, we wear their hearts on the sleeves, and we are behaving very vulnerable. So those men are like fantastic, like easy little prey, here I come, right? So don't be vulnerable, be smart, and stop behaving low value, because a high value man, a quality man, is looking for a smart, high value woman. He is looking for his equal partner. But by equal partner, I don't mean a woman that behaves masculine. I mean an equal partner, as in you being a woman who will be able to complement him. Number two sign that the relationship will not last is if you kind of break up, come back together, break up, come back together, break up, come back together. So usually people break up because the relationship itself has problems, right? But if you break up in that right way, and let's say you want an ex back, you give a guy space and time to miss you by giving him no contact, and usually the guy comes back. Usually the first breakup is not really a breakup. The majority of the time, if the relationship lasted for longer than 6 months, majority of the time people do come back together again. However, if the issues are not fixed, they break up again. So then you get this cycle, right? So I personally believe in people reconciling, I think is the word, after the breakup and having a happy relationship. However, because I coach women, I don't coach men, let's say, so you as a woman, you would have to reflect on what type of behaviors you did with him in a relationship that turned him off so much that he actually ended up breaking up with you. So when you guys do have an opportunity come back together, that you don't repeat those behaviors anymore. And then there's opportunity for a happy ever after. So if you want to know what type of behaviors might have turned him off, again, check out my video, What is a Woman of Low Value? And also, guys, I'm so sorry for this wind. Today is a really kind of a bit of even scary day in UK, and I live on 16th floor, so the wind here is insane. Number three big sign that the relationship will not last is when you are marrying into the family and you don't get on with his family. So I think this is very cultural. If you are a Christian, for example, in the Bible it says when a man marries a woman, he leaves his family. He leaves his father and mother, and him and his wife create a little family separated from his father and his mother, right? So in this case, even if you don't get on that much with his parents, it's still kind of workable, you still can manage it because you guys don't live together, right? So it's kind of marrying into a family, but it doesn't have those type of pressures, whereas, for example, a Muslim family would have, because usually if you're marrying into a Muslim family, right, you're marrying into a whole family and people live together. So the parents, I think the brothers and sisters, etc., I think there's like a big family, right? So if you're marrying into this type of family and you don't get on with the parents, then there could be huge problems happening. And I know a lot of stories where, let's say, a woman went against her family, her husband went against his family, and the parents were against the couple marrying. We still got married, and when a woman started to live with her husband and his mom, and over the years there was always a lot of pressure from the husband's moms towards her, and basically at the end of the day we ended up getting a divorce 15 years later. But as she tells me, it was basically because of her mother-in-law being there on her case at all times. So the sign number four is that things can fall apart is when you have a different mindset towards marriage. So some people nowadays have a mindset towards marriage is like, we're gonna stay together until things work, until we are both in love. But if we both fall out of love and there are problems happening, we just separate, we just break up, get a divorce, etc. Whereas, for example, a Catholic upbringing, right, would be if you're actually a true Catholic that goes to church, right? Basically, with Catholic upbringing, it's very clear that you get married until the death does you apart. So divorce is not really an option. Yes, of course, divorces happen for some emergency cases, but it's more about for better and for worse. Not like until you fall out of love kind of thing. It's more like we are in this together forever. So the approach is very different, because if you're in it together forever, because you're kind of stuck with this person for the rest of your life. First of all, you will be careful in choosing them more wisely, because divorce is not really an option. Second, then you guys will have problems. You're gonna be there for each other. You're gonna have each other's back. Whereas if you're marrying somebody until you fall out of love, there are plenty of examples that I can give you. For example, I know this girl was married to a guy. He was depressed, and he was depressed for 1 year. She asked for divorce. I know another lady that we got married together. They were both really focused on their goals and dreams. That's what connected them together. And then she kind of like, instead of going for her goals and dreams, she wanted more like of a family life, have babies, etc. He was like, this is not what I married you for, and he's asking for divorce. Another family I know, we had money issues. The woman felt let down, and they are asking for divorce as well. So if you're seeing marriage as in just like an official paper until you fall out of love or until the problem happens, this is very different from this. Now, relating to the point number 3 that I told you about, when it comes involvement in a family, right? So for example, I know this happened to actually my family members. My mom and dad, my dad proposed to my mom like in 3 days, and my dad actually was divorced before, and my mom's mom didn't want my dad to be married to my mom, because she was like, oh, he's divorced, he's trouble, etc, etc. So my mom's mom, my grandma, was really against my dad marrying my mom. However, as soon as we got married, literally the next day after the wedding, my grandma switched. She switched, and she was on my dad's side, supporting the marriage, always kind of being there like, no, this is like, keep going, keep going, always supporting the marriage. Why? Because she looked at it like, okay, before the marriage I can still separate them perhaps, however after marriage it's till death does you apart. So if I want a happy relationship with my daughter and my son-in-law, I better be with them together, because we all kind of together till death does you apart, right? So there can be this type of switch as well. However, if his family believes in divorces, and they believe that, like, yes, you got married, but my son can still divorce her, they might, even if you guys get married, they might be influencing the son to divorce you, and we're not gonna give up until that divorce actually does happen. This is why it's so important not just look at you and him, but to look at the whole background and what type of mindsets you both have towards marriage, besides you being high value. Because if you're low value, you just not even want to go that way. But if you are high value, then the next steps would be look at the bigger picture for sure before you dig yourself that hole. Saying that, of course, even when we have struggles, as they say, sometimes love conquers it all. And if that's your situation, you know, where it's like you both in it together and you're sticking because of love, well, you know, I wish you all the best. I hope it all works out for you. So ladies, this was my video on 4 signs that it's not gonna work. If you liked this video, please press like. Let me know in the comments below what did you think. Join Greta's High Value Women's School, where we are all in the same boat, learning how to be women of high value and bring out the best in our man. Follow me on my Instagram. My Instagram is called Ladies Relationship Coach. So ladies, I have news for you. I have new high value women's course for sale now, where everything is included. The core of high value, how to be a challenge for a man, how to be a challenge to yourself, how to set in boundaries, emotional control, gamesman play, etc. Everything is in the High Value Women's course, which is for sale on my website. So if you want to learn everything about high value that you need to know in one go, get that course. And the course is of course for married women and for single women. It is relatable to both. And I'll put a link to the course in my video description box below and as a pinned comment under this video. So my queens, thank you so much for watching. Kisses from Dorset. Mwah.